Welcome back to Primary Source China Investment. Happy New Year. Wishing you all a great 2022. Peng.guo and I are excited to get into show P2. And the theme this week is investing on a tightrope. So the themes that are going to come up in 2022 are really a follow-on from 2021. And Peng.guo and I got a lot right in 2021. And not to round the bases on some of those things, but what are the themes that are going to continue into 2022? And the first one I would like to put up is dual circulation. And I would also jam into that common prosperity. Remember what this is. This is domestic consumption for domestic firms and the export of expertise. It also links in with the Belt and Road. China's exporting infrastructure, development, expertise. Domestically, foreign brands are still walking a tightrope, whereas domestic brands seem to have a pretty clear runway. So I submit that dual circulation, common prosperity is a theme that is going to weigh heavily in 2022. And I just pose one question right now. Is Tesla going to remain the top EV automaker in China? So what's your thoughts on these two ideas, Peng.guo?
You're right. I think right now everybody just thinking about what's the same in the 2022. They just count all the available theme and try to figure out which one could be the best one. Honestly, in my opinion, is from the in China market, nobody knows the answers. So that's what I feel. And
that's what we get paid to do, Peng.guo. We have to figure that out.
Yeah. And in reality, and the people still focus on the several industries which have a huge potentials to do it. Like you said, new infrastructure is definitely the big area. I think a new infrastructure as well as the clean energy car industry, this is have a huge overlap to do that. Tesla is, I think, is continue to take the top priority in China market. Mm-hmm. Actually, Tesla is a symbol of far more than the clean car area. You probably see in the most recent news, the Tesla they have a Cyber Whistle. They get sold out in seconds in the Tmall and in Alibaba. So it's hard to buy it. And also, I'm pretty sure, and the Tesla probably can build, including the clean cars, can sell pretty much every stuff for the Tesla fans. And also, other electronic car also do the same things. They start to sell all the related stuff in China. So as long as whoever gets the best brand and build the reputation in the market, they definitely take a huge advantage of that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think with huge success comes more scrutiny, though. So they definitely have to compete harder and harder, and the playing field is not necessarily level.
That's true, and I also see probably another potential is really from the old car companies, like the Mercedes-Benz. They just have the new electronic car, which can run almost 1,000 kilometers. So that is, I think they have more competitive and biggest threats to the Tesla's market share.
Yeah. That's globally too, not just for China.
And that's true. But don't forget all the global car companies. They also get a large piece of pie in China.
Yeah, absolutely.
So their new cars is also get hot and popular in the China market.
Yeah,
it's very intensive.
Absolutely, competition is fierce. So the next topic I wanted to talk about was a little geopolitical, which is this. Happened in 2021, and think we're going to continue through 2022, which is this, AUKUS and the QUAD. And basically, this is groups of countries, different overlapping groups of countries, pushing back on China in really the South China Sea, and a little bit about trade. And I'd argue that all of this is like a decade too late. But having a presence and pushing up against this expansion is positive. And I don't believe the press that this is anything about holding China back. Remember, no country becomes a superpower or global leader in a vacuum.
Yeah, those conflicts on topic has nothing new. So they already existed for many, many years.
Yeah.
And it depends when you want to raise up the voice. I think right now, pretty much is much more important for the country. They work together to make money and how to survive for the global pandemic period. Like the China, like in Asia, right now they started to build the free zone, including the Japan, Australia, as well as other South Asian countries. Because in China right now, this get a pretty hot topic, and all the consumers are thinking about how much money they can save it for the imported products. So that is really the focus. And we know, like from the media, some of the fight or the conflict news or negative news always take a lot of the attention with that. But in reality, that's on the contrary.
Yeah. These, like you said, these conflicts have been going on for a long time, but it's not, one-to-one anymore. It's one-to-many. And I think that's a fundamental shift that's happened over the last 18 months or so.
Yeah, in China, I think the conclusion, everybody agree with that. For the bigger country, if you want to be successful, really should avoid self-inflict setback. So,
yeah, I just worry that with all the consolidation of power, sometimes you just want to use it. It's like the James Baker quote. The best way to get into a fight is to go look for one. So I certainly hope we have cooler heads prevail and more and better conversations going forward.
Yeah, that's why the big five, they make the new statement together. It's pretty rare. First day of the new year, you keep the peace of the world. So we are still in the peace. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, I do worry, but I'm glad we're at peace. So the third thing I want to talk about, it's one of the favorites of mine, are Chinese firms listed in the U.S. And personally, I can't see anything but more pain for investors and business leaders alike. I listen to traders in New York and Chicago and London talking about finding value in some of these names. I think this is completely wrong. This is asymmetric risk, because you can't look at the value of a firm solely based on earnings. There are too many exogenous events that could happen. So in order to invest in US listed tech names, I think people would be crazy to do that. I think the downside risk is still much higher than the upside risk.
I think from the technical chart, you can see pretty clear it's still in the downside trend. So it's not moved to the uptrend.
No.
If a company, if the entire sector want to move up, that's a really need a strong logic and obviously fundamental things, as well as the lot of the country level, maybe global level. They should have a strong driver behind the uptrend. Otherwise,
and the policy doesn't
stay like that.
Yeah, and the policy doesn't point in that direction, right? I mean, we always talk about follow the policy. If I follow the policy is clearly telling me that these companies have to delist in the U.S. and relist in Hong Kong and the mainland.
That's true. Because those companies, most of them, their core business is still in the China, as well as it still reflect the China current situation.
Yeah, I think the China internet sector area is going to happen in our fourth area, which is A shares. So to me, this is where the opportunity lies. I think this is the biggest opportunity that we've talked about in a while. As we've said, in 2021, A shares is the preferred path to China investment. We say that constantly, and I don't think this changes in 2022. But like you mentioned at the outset, there will be sectors that will be divergent. I'd bet more on the consumer as savings rates remain very high, but macro growth will continue to slow. And one of the things I was thinking about was sort of a chart which says, how close, two axes. One is how close is the specific company to government policy? And on the other axis, how innovative is the company? So you have a lot of industries that by definition are close to the government, but may not be innovative. I'm talking, maybe insurance and telecom service and maybe even entertainment. All of these are really prohibited from foreign investment in China still. So some of those companies in those industries may be very close to China, but may not be innovative. Whereas there are industries that are very close to the government, sort of still controlled, but can be very innovative. Pharma, biotech, A-share technology. These are the areas where I think you're going to see a lot of outperformance.
I agree. Yeah. So in China, government policy have a huge impact in the industry. So most of the time, they should get some expectations and the price in the price. Yeah, hopefully there's no more huge surprise. Otherwise, that really hurt the sector.
Yeah, there's also two more things I wanted to talk about today. I know we're running a little bit long, but it is the new year, so what the hell? China fixed income. I still believe it was a great year in 2021. We put the chart up of CBON, and I think 2022 continues because there's no major FX policy on the horizon that we can see, and we may see a similar type of low volatility through 2022.
That's true. So volatility is one side. Another pretty interesting thing is that we just finished the rebalance recently. We are excited to see in the China bond ETF market, it seems like a growth. A couple of the convertible bond as well as the short-term bond ETF, their size get much bigger.
That's A-share ETF. That's A-share ETF on the ground in China, not available to foreign investors, right?
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah. Just want to be clear about that. Yeah, I think those things getting a bid is actually a good sign because people have more faith in that. And despite the headline news of some of these developers, yeah, they're going to go bad. That's absolutely fine. But in terms of an overall portfolio, this is small exposure.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
And then the final thing is commodity prices. And remember in 2021, if you put a 6-month chart up, and we will, you had this huge spike in energy and chemicals. I'll put up the Zhonghan chart of that index, peng.guo, and you'll see it spiked about 67%, and then basically quickly did a round trip and came back down. What didn't do that was agricultural prices. So ag prices are up about 13% from about 6 months ago, and I don't see any of that dissipating. So consumers are going to pay higher price for everyday goods.
Commodity is really the best performance sectors in the 2021.
Yeah.
I think obviously the global inflation and as well as the pandemic period caused a lot of problems for the commodity consumption and production. The commodities is from the Goldman Sachs prediction, it's probably have the 10 years cycle. Looks like we have very enough time to see the high priced commodities. But from the recent commodities is still pretty strong. And I don't see any, it's still in the uptrend.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we're going to leave it there for our first show of 2022. We look forward to being with you for the remainder of the year. Looking forward to all of these great topics, and we'll look at performance and hold ourselves accountable. Thanks.
Thank you.